What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm D.Knight, and it's time for change.
Cause it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Yeah, it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Can't stop my hustle. No, you can't stop my shine. I ain't come to make no friends. I just came to get what's mine.
Welcome back to the Baltimore Orioles franchise rebuild in MLB The Show 19. We ended up finishing the season at 73 and 89. And it's pretty much going to be a top 10 pick for us next year in the draft. But ultimately, a lot of progression has happened with our players, and a lot of regression has happened with our players, aka Trumbo and Davis. So let's take a look at the stats real quick. So VR, who was actually an all-star, hit 287, 26 home runs. He actually moved his potential up to B, which is great. Dwight Smith Jr. hit 282 with 13 home runs. Trey Mancini, another all-star, hit 283 with 36 home runs. Actually won the Silver Slugger for outfielder, which is awesome. Trumbo hit 237 with 24 bombs. Chris Davis hit 222, 9 home runs, 30 RBIs. Renato Nunez hit 251 with 8 homers, 38 RBIs. Chance Cisco, 229, 13 home runs, 45 RBIs. DJ Stewart hit 251 with 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. Hanser Alberto, 278, 16 and 52. Severino, 238 with 8 home runs. Stevie Wilkerson, 225 with 10 home runs. Rio Ruiz, 227 with 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. Richie Martin hit 204 with a home run, 11 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Gabriel Yanoa actually came in towards the end of the season when Cobb got hurt. He went 2 for 3, 3.95 ERA, 1.22. He's now 79 overall. He's probably going to make our rotation next year. Dylan Bundy, yikes. He was actually our only pitcher with a winning record. He was 13 with 10 losses, 4.76 ERA. John Means, 4.56, 8 and 12 record. Ty Block, 4.17 ERA with a 4 and 11 record. And Aaron Brooks, the guy that we saw last episode, 3.77 ERA with 11 wins, 12 losses. Bullpen, Chandler Shepard, 4.44. Alex Cobb, we know what happened with him. He actually ended up losing 18 games with a 5.26 ERA. Paul Fry, 4.86, 1.64 whip. Brandon Klein, 5.05 ERA, but had 12 wins. Okay. Richard Blyer was lights out, 1.63 ERA with 0.88 whip, but only 38 and 2/3 innings pitched, so might want to get him involved a little bit more. Miguel Castro, 2.4 ERA with a 1.15 whip in 60 innings. And Michael Givens, 3.96, 0-2 record, 1.62 whip. And saves-wise, he ended up having 37, so that's solid. I mean, he was an all-star. So what we need to do in this episode is we need to get past the playoffs, which, as you can see right there, we got Boston and Seattle in the AL wild card, with Philadelphia and the Dodgers in the other side. The other teams to make it, Houston with the best record in the AL. New York and Cleveland are going to have a series. Washington had the best record in the NL, and we beat them, by the way. And then San Francisco and Chicago. So let's get through the playoffs as quickly as possible. Mike Trout, by the way, won MVP. So that's not really a big difference. So Philly ends up beating the Dodgers in the NL wildcard. Nice. Boston beats Seattle. Seattle making a playoff appearance. That's pretty good. Good for them. And now here comes the big series. San Fran and Philly jump out to a 1-0. Cleveland and Houston tied up with San Francisco, Chicago. The Nationals have now lost 2 straight to the Phillies. The Indians are up 2-0 on the Yankees, and Houston up 2-0 on Boston. Philadelphia sweeps the Nationals. Chicago now has a 2-1 edge. Cleveland sweeps New York, and Houston sweeps Boston. And Chicago ended up winning in Game 4. So it's going to be the Phillies and Cubs, and then the Houston Astros and the Cleveland Indians on the other side. Let's go. Nothing there. Must be travel days. Travel days. More travel days. The Cubs take a 1-0 series lead on the Phillies. Houston takes a 1-0 series lead as Chicago and Philly are now tied. Another split on the ALCS side. 2-1 for the Cubs. 2-1 for the Indians. 3-1 now for the Cubs. Cubs just one win away from getting to the World Series. The ALCS is now tied up. The Phillies do claw back. It's 3-2. Houston will now take the 3-2 edge over Cleveland, so both of these could be over very soon. Chicago will make it to the World Series. Congrats to the Cubs. And Houston ends up winning 4-2. So it's going to be the Astros versus the Cubs in the World Series. So that should be pretty interesting. I guess no sign stealing in MLB The Show. Astros take the 1-0 lead. Cubs bring it back, even up the series. Houston now takes a 1-game lead. They now take a 2-game lead. This could be over. The Astros have beat the Cubs in the World Series. So the Astros are now the world champions. Let's see who ended up getting the awards. So World Series MVP was Robinson Chirinos, hit 444, 3 dingers. Okay, go ahead, buddy. For the NL play, oops, did I miss something? There we go. Postseason MVP, Nicholas Castellanos and Jose Altuve. So MVP, as I said, Trout, Yelich. Cy Young was Scherzer and Sale. Batting title, Mookie and Justin Turner. Reliever of the award, Kenley Osuna. Rookie, Yordan Alvarez and Mike Yastrzemski, former Oriole. How about that, winning Rookie of the Year? Hank Aaron Award, Yelich and Trout. And then we don't really have to worry about the Gold Gloves or the Silver Sluggers. So top prospect-wise, towards the end of the season here, we do have Grayson Rodriguez at number 44. And Adley Rutschman will be in there next year when he's playing in Double-A. It doesn't count the Class A guys, which I guess kind of makes sense. So it's time to get to the offseason, so let's not wait anymore. 2019 inductees Albert Pujols, Ichiro Suzuki, and Robinson Cano. Those should be, those make sense for sure. Alright, so exclusive free agents, we just have Trumbo. Guess what? Not happening, buddy. Not really worried about losing you. I do kind of want to see what you're thinking of trying to get. Let's see, he wants 4 years, 12 mil. Ain't happening. I was seeing if we could possibly do a qualifying offer. Pretty much if somebody else signs him, then we end up getting a draft pick in the second round, and they lose their second round pick. But really, not much going on. We do have a first base coach option open. That guy's got an A grade, A grade. Okay. Chris Hodge, huh? Durability, speed, reaction, arm accuracy. I love the coaches that pretty much give you all positives, no negatives. Gary Ramirez as well here. I mean, those are the guys that you kind of want. Jason Fernandez. We have decent. I mean, Chris Hayes is kind of, he's youngish. I think we're going to go actually after him. See what he's thinking we should go after here. He's looking for 1.1 million for 2 to 4 years. We're going to do 4 years. We're going to bump him up to 5. Make a good offer here. See if he ends up coming through. But again, we also have Gary Ramirez to look at. And who was the other guy? Jason Fernandez. Older guy, so we'll have to see. Chris Hage actually accepted the Cubs offer as first base. We actually had the best one available, but he just did not care. So now we got to go after somebody else. So who do we have? I can't believe it. Nobody wants to come to the Orioles, do they? Alright, Gary Ramirez, what are you thinking? You have no offers at all. 2 to 4 years. Bump you up just a tad. There you go. You have no other offers. You don't really want to be with us anyway because, I mean, nobody does. But we have 3 days to get it done. Alright, so we got Gary Ramirez. That's an A potential guy with no negative effects. We will take that. Today is the last day. But doesn't matter to us. We do not want Trumbo. So best players that we could lose in the Rule 5 draft. Gil Martin is a 77 overall. So he's actually probably somebody we're going to add. Salary arbitration, we have a ton. See, I knew VR was in there. So we're going to have to make a good amount of deals on these guys. Definitely want to make an offer to VR. He's looking for 10 mil a year. Oof, that's pretty steep, my friend. Pretty steep. That's 360K a week. I mean, you are 91 overall. I don't know. 1 year, 4.6. That's probably a little bit more in our range that we want to do. So I think we're actually going to make that offer to him. He is pretty interested in that one, at least. Trey Mancini. I mean, this guy's got... Oh, we can get him for cheap too. 5 years, 38. Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's actually front load this so we're able to kind of make money towards the end. I'm okay with that. Michael Givens, he's 29. He's looking for 5.7. I think if we give him a 2-year, slightly going down, 2-year, 3.2. I think that's a pretty good offer for him. Boom. Pedro. I don't know, buddy. I got some really good catchers coming up. But actually, you don't really want much, do you? I think we can kind of play around with that a little bit. Let's offer 4 years. Jack it up a little bit. Right there. Platoon, I can see that. Let's make that offer to him. Liar, even though he is 32. My man wants to get paid. I think we could sign him for a year. Let's give him 1.4, just like he's asking. Anzer, buddy, you had a pretty good year. You kind of want some big time money, though. I think we might actually do it. Let's see. 3 years, that'll go him up to 30. I think we can pay him that. He did hit 276. He was looking pretty good. Aaron Brooks, yes, we want to be able to pay you. And you actually only want $720 a year. I'll do that in a heartbeat, buddy. Absolute heartbeat. That'll get him up to 33. Jack up just a little bit. There you go. See if he can have another good year. If not, he does have B potential for trade bait. Ty Block. You actually didn't look too bad. But you actually want a good amount of money. 2.8 mil for a 4 ERA. We're going to have to hold off on that one. Bundy. Oh, no, you're going straight to arbitration. There's no way I'm spending that much on him. Okay, so So 3 years at 540. Let's see. I think that's worth it. I mean, he actually looked really good. That B potential. We'll make that offer. Nate Carnes, how much are you asking for? 770. You can kick rocks. Sucre, 1 million to be a double A? No, I don't think so. So really the only guys that I might want to offer arbitration, I'm actually going to lowball them a little bit. See if I can get them to sign. 2.6 though? Yikes. No, I don't even think I'm going to be able to do that. So his previous salary was $575. He wants $2 million. I'm okay with giving him $750. Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's what we're going to offer him. And Dylan Bundy, remake of 1.6. How much did you want for a year? 3.1. I'm okay with doing 2 mil for you, Bundy. So, a couple guys, arbitration, Carnes, Sucre, I'm not going to worry about. Contracts, I mean, there's contract renewables. So, I'll do these real quick, but I'll leave them out unless it's the big guys. So, taking a look here at the free agents, we got some big ones. I mean, Rendon, obviously. There's Mad Bomb. Now, there is actually a qualifying offer only made on Rendon, which is big. But the Giants, 5 for 76. Strips out there, Cishek, Betances, Marcelo Ozuna. But our big thing that we need to do first is put 2 guys on the trade block. So update the trading block. So remember, this is a realistic rebuild. So ultimately, only teams that are interested, we can do a suggest trade, but we can only do one of those 3. Or any offer that is given to us. We can't sit there and actually search for any trades or anything and kind of cheese the system. So Chris Davis, and did I pass Cobb? I had to pass Cobb. Where are you there, Cobby? Where are you? There you are. So those are the 2 guys that we are going to put onto the trade block. I mean, really position seeking. It could be any of these. I'm going to say second base, not so much. Catcher, not so much. Wouldn't mind finding some starter relievers. Maybe our shortstop position. Maybe center field. All right, let's go back. So let's take a look at the trading block. So Ender Inciarte, we would be able to trade for if we wanted to. Now the team's interested. Alex Cobb is the Cubs. And there's actually a lot of people ready for Chris Davis. So ultimately what we have to do, we have to take the Red Sox, Brewers, Rockies. Here, we'll show you, because I would rather get this off of my menu here. So Red Sox, Brewers, Rockies. That's who we can actually do a trade with. So let's see what the Red Sox would want or want to give us. Suggest trade. Let's see. Would you give me any prospects? So let's see. But as you can tell, the Red Sox do not have a trade suggestion in the prospects, so we wouldn't be able to do that. But we can also do MLB ready, which they do not. So the Red Sox are out. I think the other ones were the Rockies. Let's see, the Rockies want to give me anybody? They do not. Okay. And who was the other guy that was interested in old Chris Davis? Brewers. See if the Brewers have any sort of stuff that they want. Please just get them off of me. So, Brewers, anybody? Okay, so you see there's suggested trades there from certain people, but we're not able to take them because they're not interested. So that's kind of the way that I'm going to kind of handcuff myself. Now, starting pitcher wise, the Cubs want Alex Cobb. So let's see if they have some trades available for him. Doesn't look like it. Oh no! I mean, this is what makes it difficult. So that's the way that it's going to be. So let's see if they have any MLB ready guys they want to get rid of. Nope. So we're kind of stuck with those two for right now. Now, after a little bit, the trading block does kind of change. So that's pretty exciting. But the Cubs are really the only ones that are interested. And then those three guys, but nobody really has a trade that they want. So possibly we're going to be able to get one going forward, you know, as a requested one. But it makes it difficult, and I'm okay with that. So we ended up getting some trade offers for Chris Davis from the Red Sox. They got a couple of B potential guys. Jeez, Hayden Lemon, good grief. And the Brewers as well, who pretty much want to give us a whole bunch of stuff. But this is really going to help us get Chris Davis's contract off the books. I mean, I do like that R.D. Navarro guy, 72 overall. I mean, that catcher, pretty solid, B73. The only thing that scares me is that's Adley's spot, so we don't really need him. So we're actually going to accept the trade for these three guys, Nicarak, Mackenzie Yamashita, and R.D. Navarro. We'll take that, thank you. And then the Cubs as well want Alex Cobb, which I have no problems doing that at all. They're either going to give us Danny Holtzen and Macbeth, or these three gentlemen here. I mean, nothing really too crazy. I'll take Holtzen. I mean, I'll probably release him anyway. But that's a good trade for us. We'll take it. So the one piece in the trades, we ended up dropping the other two, and also the guy that we got in Alex Cobb's deal. We all waived them, but this was a big piece for us, R.D. Navarro. He has average contact, average power, good fielding, good speed. He's ultimately our best outfielder right now as a 72 overall, but he is going to start the season in AAA. So the first day offers that we're looking at here, we're going to try to get Mike Moustakas, Michael Pineda, who actually had a pretty good year last year, a 3.2 ERA, 10-4. He is 31, so he has a little bit more to kind of go in his prime. I know he's kind of a low 71 overall, but he's going to push Dylan Bundy for that 5th spot and possibly the 4th. And then we have a couple of guys that are just kind of depth pieces, a couple of B potentials. We got Walter Jean, Luis Gohara, which is an A potential guy, Switzer, who was the guy we drafted but we didn't have any space, Raul Alcantara, who's an A potential as well, Bruce Maxwell, he's a 29-year-old catcher, B potential, but pretty much I've been releasing catchers right and left. Jose Mesa, 26-year-old relief pitcher, B potential. Tyler Danish, a starting pitcher, 61 overall, B potential, 25 years old. Nick Rumbelow, who's a relief pitcher, 28, 60 overall, B potential. Sergio Fiera, who's an A potential shortstop. I know we have a high B potential shortstop, but we'll see what Sergio does. Archie Terrell, B potential, 56 overall, 21-year-old starting pitcher. Logan Wyatt, B potential, 55 overall first baseman. Mason Elgart, 20, B potential starting pitcher. Devlin Granberg, 24, B potential left fielder. Starlin Castillo, 19-year-old starting pitcher with B potential. And Darren Underwood, a B potential third baseman at 47 overall. First day of free agency was good. We got Walker Jean, who's a 66 overall B potential second baseman. He has average contact, good fielding, good speed, good stealing. So ultimately, this guy could be our second baseman of the future. We're probably going to be starting him in AA this year, possibly AAA. But we'll have to see what we're going to be doing with VR. We also got Jose Mesa, who's a 62 overall B potential relief pitcher. His per nines are average. They could use a little bit of work. But tell you the truth, anytime that you can get a B potential reliever, it's usually worth it. He is 26 years old, 92 mile an hour fastball. We'll have to see if he can progress and make the show or not. And Archie Terrell signs as well on day one, 56 overall B potential lefty. He has some good velocity, a 97 mile an hour fastball. His per nines do need a little bit of work, especially in the hit per nine category. But we'll see what he can do, a good depth piece for us. Darren Underwood also signs. He's 47 overall B potential, just 20 years of age, so he has a lot of development. He's a real big project for us, but at third base we kind of need a little bit of depth, so I welcome him to the team. Sergio Fiera also signed, 59 overall, a potential shortstop. Shortstops have been really, really good to us, so he's just going to be another added piece to it. He is a little bit of a project. His contact power is not really there. Decent speed, but ultimately a potential. We needed that in our organization. We are going to give an offer to Tommy Hunter as well to kind of help with the right-handed bullpen situation, since we don't really have anybody in the middle innings as a right-hander other than Castro, and he's kind of doing some setup stuff. Bruce Maxwell will sign here on day two. He's 58 overall B potential. He is 29 years old. He has average hitting stats. He's probably not ever going to make the show, but he's a real good depth piece for us in the minors, just in case any injuries happen. Logan Wyatt also signs as a 55 overall B potential first baseman. He has really good hitting already, so our first base depth is very, very weak. So I really welcome a 22-year-old who can possibly develop into a starter down the future. Third day, Starlin Castillo will end up signing for us, 51 overall, 19-year-old B potential starting pitcher. He does have a 95 mile an hour fastball. As you can tell, I like the guys with a little bit of zoom on their pitches. His per nines need a lot of work, but he is kind of a project. He's probably going to start AA, but we'll have to see if he can really be that guy, that starter down in the future for us. Finally, on the fourth day of free agency, Michael Pineda will sign with us. 76 overall, 31-year-old. He has decent per nine, 94 mile an hour fastball. He actually had a great year last year with Minnesota, going 10-4 with a 3.24 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, and he had 10 quality starts. Tommy Hunter will also sign today as a 79 overall C potential reliever. We welcome him back to the Orioles as he had some of his best years with us, 2013, 2014. His per nines are just out of this world. He had a great year 2 years ago. He was a free agent last year, but a 3.8 ERA is nothing to really skulk at. 1.25 whip, and we needed bullpen help. And Mike Moustakas on the 7th day of free agency will finally sign with us as an 84 overall, 31-year-old third baseman. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing with him, if it's going to be third base or designated hitter. Really depends on who's the better fielder between him and Renato Nunez. But as you can see, above average contact, elite power versus right. He's very durable. He had a wonderful year last year, hitting .280 with 33 home runs, 115 RBIs with Milwaukee. That OPS 852. This is definitely going to be somebody who's going to be cracking the ball out of Camden Yards. Mason Englert will actually sign with us here on the 8th day of free agency. 53 overall, B potential righty with a 93 mile an hour fastball. His per nines definitely need a little bit of work, but he's a bit of a project. But he's 20 years old. I mean, we got him for about 8 years, so hopefully he can come up and become a consistent starter for us at the show. Devlin Granberg on the next day will also sign with us, a 51 overall B potential left fielder. He's 24 years old, so his time's kind of running out to get that overall where it needs to be. But he has below average pretty much everything. He has average speed, but he's definitely another project, but he's only got a couple of years to really kind of impress us. Nick Rumbelow will finally sign with us on the 15th day of free agency. 56 overall, B potential. He's 28 years old. He does have some major league service, so hopefully he's able to get back there, kind of find his way. He has decent per nines, so hopefully he just needs a chance to make it to the big leagues again. 3 days later, Luis Gohara finally signs our contract. He's a 60 overall, A potential lefty. He's 23, so he does have some time to really kind of impress us. He's got a 96 mile an hour fastball, so he's got some good velocity. His per nines need a little bit of work, but as an A potential pitcher, I'm glad to have him here, and hopefully he's able to build up through Bowie, through Norfolk, and hopefully be at the top of our rotation soon. On the 22nd day of free agency, Raul Alcantara will finally sign here with Baltimore. He's a 58 overall, A potential. He's 27 years old, so this might be a little bit of a stretch to actually see him make it to the big leagues. But he's got decent per nine, so hopefully he's able to dominate in the minors and end up with the big league team here shortly in a couple of years. So we are going after more relief pitcher depth here with Sean Kelly, who had a 2.7 last year. Just going to offer him 1, maybe bump it up to 1.9. Seems like that's pretty good, but another right-hander in the bullpen. My lucky day. Orlando Arcia is a free agent after all this stuff. I guess the Brewers couldn't really get things taken care of for him. So he's actually, I could do 3 years, 12.9. Yeah, I could do that. He might end up being our starting shortstop over Alberto. We'll have to see. With our weakness in center field, I do feel like we should give an offer to JT Riddle, who actually hit .271 last year. I really like Mullins, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. And I mean, he's only looking for $1.8 million a year. I think we can offer that. We are also going to give an offer of 2 years to Kyle Gibson. He had a 2.82 ERA. He's 76 overall, 32 years of age. I mean, why not? We can always trade him later if we get him. Well, JT Riddle took no time to sign with us as a 74 overall, B potential center fielder. He has average contact, average power, above average speed, but ultimately this guy is kind of a all-around guy, and we needed some help at center field. I'm not sure if Mullins is quite ready. I would like to have him in AAA, But Riddle had a good year with the Miami Marlins last year, hitting 271, 4 home runs, 25 RBIs, a 351 on-base percentage, and a 720 OPS. Kyle Gibson was right after him on the first day. 78 overall, C potential. Real big veteran for us. Hopefully he doesn't turn out like Alex Cobb. But he has some real great per nines. He had a wonderful year last year with Minnesota. He was 15 of 9 with a 2.82 ERA, a 1.25 whip with 22 quality starts. If he's able to come anywhere near that, it's going to be welcome in our rotation. I'm also going to give an offer here to Edwin Encarnacion, who had 34 home runs. We kind of want that DH. He's the perfect fit for it, so we're going to offer him a contract here. Sean Kelly will sign the second day of free agency too. 75 overall, C potential. He is up there in age. He's 35 years old, but those per nines are great. The hit and the walk, the home runs, not so much. But he had a great year for the Rangers last year with a 2.73 ERA, 1.1 whip, 2 saves, 7-3, 16 holds, and pretty much our bullpen was an area of need. The guy that I was most excited has finally signed. It's Orlando Arcia, a 74 overall, A potential shortstop. I guess he wasn't really getting the ability to realize his potential with Milwaukee. He has pretty much above average contact, average power, average speed, great fielding. I mean, this guy's attributes look fantastic. He had a great year last year with Milwaukee. He hit 264, 12 home runs, 53 RBIs with a 719 OPS. However, this does kick Hanser Alberto to the bench, but I think Hanser might end up becoming our second baseman if he does a really good job backing up, because I'm not sure if I want to pay VR $10 million next year. And the old man, Edwin Encarnacion, will sign here in Baltimore with his 81 overall. He is 37 years old, so he's really getting up there. He's probably going to show a bunch of regression, but he still has elite power, great hitting. We're not going to ask him to play in the field. He hit 283 with 34 home runs and 92 RBIs. The first year that he didn't have over 100 RBIs, probably because the Yankees were scoring runs way before he would even get up to bat. But he's not going to have to worry about that with us. He had a 907 OPS. My man can hit, and he will. Now, I only signed him for 1 year, however, at $4.2 million, because I do believe Robert Hinckley is going to be ready to go, and he's more of a DH hybrid. So we have the Rule 5 draft coming up in a day. I actually only have 37 people on my 40-man, so I'm actually interested to see who's available. Now, the Rule 5 draft, I will continuously do that one because the CPU actually gets involved as well. But after people get sent down from spring training on the waiver claims, they don't really pick up any of the people that you send down, so I'm going to use that as an opportunity not to pick up any of the people that they drop, just to try to keep it as fair as possible. So we are going to be going into the Rule 5 draft. Let's see who's available. Alright, so the Blue Jays, the Tigers take some people. That guy has 0 potential. What? Alright, let's see who they got. Ray Black, who's A potential, but he's just 59 overall. He's not really going to fit with us. Is that pretty much? Okay. Hey, Bruce. You're going to be playing with us, so you don't even have to worry about it. There's a 79 B potential. Reliever. How you doing? Edrubre Ramos. We could probably use you. Let's keep seeing what they have available. Ooh, a couple of 74s, 75s. Erasmo. Liberatore. I mean, other than that one relief pitcher, I think everybody else is good to go. But we are going to take Emm, Ramos. See if we lose anybody. No, I'm not picking anymore. So the Rule 5 draft is over. They need to remain on my 25-man roster for the whole season, or they may be claimed by their previous team. What is this? Round 2. Okie dokie. So pretty much we just have to get into spring training. We do have to fix our roster. We're 1 over. So taking a look at the guy we got in the Rule 5 draft. I butchered his name when I drafted him, but I'm probably going to do it again. But Emm Ramos, who's a 79 overall B potential reliever. His per 9s are amazing. I'm not exactly sure why the Phillies don't have him on the 40-man roster, but they're a playoff team, so whatever. But his stats, even though he didn't play last year, in 2018 he had a 2.32 ERA with a 1.15 whip. I am questioning everything from the Phillies, but again, they're in the playoffs. I'm not. I'll take this guy off your hands, and we'll see what he can do. So now that we're in year 2, this is where we're going to wrap it up. When we come back, I will go through spring training. Any crazy stuff happens, we'll talk about the team. We'll have a little bit of a preview. And then we will start getting into the home opening series, or the opening day series. And we'll continue to sim through. I appreciate you guys watching. And as always, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next episode. D.Knight out.
They thought it was a game till I came back with that win over